前美国国防部副助理部长柯伯吉在共和党内被视为鹰派观点。他接受 TVBS 国际评论员于文琪专访，解释台湾值得美国保卫的理由。
I think it's important for people on Taiwan to understand that the prospects of going to war with China over anything are going to be very grave for the United States. The United States is tied very tightly to Taiwan by going back, of course, to 1949, but certainly even since the suspension of relations, by a commitment to Taiwan. And so countries, I think, will not trust us if we do not stand in Taiwan's defense. The second reason is military. If the Chinese seize Taiwan, they have broken out of the first island chain, and they have uninhibited power projection.
维持台湾安全是美国的核心利益，是否意味着美国希望两岸永久分离？
And particularly on the issue of Taiwan, I do not support Taiwan independence. I don't think that's a good idea. I think the status quo is tenable, and I think quite good for people on Taiwan. And in the future, I am not against various kinds of resolutions that are consistent with U.S. interests. What I'm against is an agglomeration of power by China and a breaking apart of the anti-hegemonic coalition that would allow China to dominate Asia. But China has to also reckon with the fact that it is too strong to just throw its weight around and expect people to just ignore it.
中国想成为印太地区霸主的野心显而易见。当中国势力越来越扩张，美国的国防战略应该如何调整？
China is China, but China's behavior is very typical for a rising great power. And rising great powers usually try to create a secure geoeconomic sphere. And here's the thing, I think the behavior of China, particularly under Xi Jinping, but really going back, is very consistent. They're building a military consistent with that. They're throwing their economic weight around. You know, they're diversifying they're using their diplomatic relationships in that way. But in fact, my own view is speak softly and carry a big stick, both for America and for Taiwan. That is to be very strong, have a strong shield, but also not try to worsen the situation with Beijing.
柯伯吉先前投书《华盛顿邮报》，呼吁美国政府优先考虑台湾，而不是乌克兰。为了防止与中国发生战争，美国政府应该把资源集中在台湾防御上，以嚇阻中国发动侵略。
The idea that Taiwan is ready and that it does not need weapons over Ukraine is totally false. It's incorrect. I mean, Taiwan is clearly unready. If you look at the Rand Corporation's assessment, Taiwan's own efforts, which would be vital for an effective defense, are way behind, way behind. A Taiwanese official was telling me recently, well, we've increased our defense spending by 30%. And I said, look, that's fine, but that's totally inadequate for what the Chinese threat requires. And you don't need to prove it to me. Well, you kind of do. You really need to prove it to Beijing. And then you need to prove to the American people that you have committed enough where we are going to be willing to take major costs.
由于援助乌克兰，美国武器库存快要耗尽。柯伯奇认为，为了帮助台湾尽快获得武器，美国政府应该在对外军售上把台湾置于优先地位，将保卫台湾作为重中之重，才能遏制中国在亚洲称霸。TVBS 新闻综合报道。